So you have a girlfriend or you're dating somebody, and for whatever reason, you think it would be nice to introduce her to your best hobby, gaming. As a matter of fact, for you, gaming is not just a way to spend time. While it provides you with some very fun and light entertainment at times, it also gave you some of the most meaningful experiences that still live up to today. It's a feeling you treasure a lot, and you would love to share this with this person you're seeing. Whether you want to take the initiative and introduce her to this amazing universe, or she might ask you to show her some games out of curiosity, you find yourself in a position where, well, you really don't know where to start. The choice is so vast, and you have countless hours on your shoulders, so you definitely know what's rocking and what's to avoid, right? But are you sure that showing her FIFA or Call of Duty would actually do the trick? Or that throwing her in a vast RPG with endless objects, skill trees, and menus won't be overwhelming? Well, maybe not for you, but for somebody who doesn't even know how to hold a controller. That's like putting me in an airplane cockpit and assuming I might somehow know how to fly this thing, with all those levers and buttons. Most likely, chances are I might be even able to turn it on. What I would like to do with this video is showing some titles that worked well for me in the past exactly for this situation, and thankfully worked out. And I managed to spend some very pleasant and valuable time with this person in particular. So, here is a list of 5 games that you can use as a Trojan horse to introduce somebody who doesn't have the slightest idea about gaming, and leading from that position to at least to a, hey, that was actually cool. I will present them in an order that go from the most accessible titles to something gradually more complex, again, for somebody who never touched a gamepad. Number 1, Detroit Become Human. I know, for all of the hardcore gamers out there, one might say that this is not a game in the strict sense of the word. Gameplay is very limited for these kind of experiences. It's almost like watching an interactive movie and so on. But here lies exactly the key. Assuming that your girlfriend is already used to movies and series, this is exactly the transition genre. It's almost like a movie, so it's familiar, but it provides just enough interaction and immersion to provide a first gaming experience and getting familiar with the concept. Plus, the narrative and the story are really good, with relatable characters and a compelling setting. Graphics are top-notch, without considering the very first scene of the game, which, emotionally, is quite a strong hook. Keep in mind, for an absolute beginner, it is even impossible to get used to the concept of camera. The thought that you have to adjust with one hand the visual as you progress is already an extra. Similar to, let's say, if you want to learn piano and you have to play with 2 hands right away. You won't make it, so of course you'll start with 1. Detroit Become Human proved to me an amazing barrier breaker for me. After these, basically any other kind of narrative-driven stories can work well. You might consider Quantic Dream previous works too. Beyond Two Souls, Heavy Rain, but also work from the Telltale Game Studio. Others that proved to be really good were The Wolf Among Us and Batman. Man, I wish they released Wolf Among Us 2 eventually. Number 2. Uncharted 4. If you made it this far, after warming up with all of the narrative-driven games, it could be time to raise the bar a bit more, in terms of interactions and promptness on the controller. Uncharted 4 proved to be a good next step, since it does take the gaming experience to a higher level, but still in a gradual way. It maintains the same premises of narrative-driven games. Great story, compelling and relatable characters, amazing graphics, beautiful crafted environments, but this time you need to jump. You need to climb. You need to actually explore the environment, and if you're really feeling into, you gotta shoot, and punch, and run. Now, in my case, I actually had to take care of these things, as shooting, running, and punching were still a bit too much. But the deal was, hey, I'll shoot bad guys, you can jump around and climb things. Turned out we made a single-player game in a sort of shared experience where both of us had to pay attention when to switch controllers. Unless you know the game by heart, in that case you don't even need to look. The mix of sharing the experience worked well, and my girlfriend managed to enjoy the title so much, and by that time, she was quite hooked, to the point where she was asking me to continue the game. Plus, levels of a game like Uncharted are not too dispersive. They are basically beautiful crafted boxes, where exploration is quite limited. Hence, the feeling of going from A to B gives also a sense of security and direction. Other similar titles in the line could be the spin-off Uncharted: The Lost Legacy and the Tomb Raider reboot trilogy titles. Number 3. Assassin's Creed 2. Here we are progressing a bit more. We are leaving the boundaries of narrative-driven dialogues and beautifully crafted boxes of Uncharted to the open world. Now here is the thing. What I noticed is that in this case, the hook is not to rush into doing things, but rather letting her explore the whole map, even for the full hour, without her punching a single person. Something that for me wouldn't really work. I need to do something after a while. But it turns out that she found a sense of relaxation and tranquility just with the exploration and walking, admiring the beauty of a faithful reproduced Florence with all of the landmarks in all of their glory. And then, after this hunger for tourism was satisfied, we could go with the story. And guess what? That worked too. For the same reasons as for the previous ones. Relatable characters, beautiful environments, compelling story, all in the framework of the Italian Renaissance. Plus, at this round, she even took on the fighting herself. I guess because, well, historically the fighting system of Assassin's Creed, especially the earlier ones, was not the strongest suit of the franchise. Turns out that even some heavy button smashing with no strategy delivered some level of satisfaction. If you manage to unlock this, it might open the way to another huge selection of titles of the same type, like literally, potentially all of the Assassin's Creed, The Witcher 3, Hogwarts Legacy if you're into Harry Potter, Red Dead Redemption, even GTA. The choice at this point can become huge. Number 4. A Way Out. Okay, now here we're making a big step forward, playing a two-player game and leave the full control of the controller in her hands. Remember that so far you were always there to adjust the camera, taking on the hardest fights? Now here it's on her. At this point, she should be familiar with all the tropes of the most spread gaming features, and you should be able to enjoy the adventure together. Of course, other titles could be more apt now that they are out, like It Takes Two and Split Fiction. However, A Way Out still managed to deliver a well-crafted adventure that didn't reinvent the wheel for hardcore gamers, but was filled with heart and passion you could see dripping. And for number 5, well, of course, other kind of genre that could help breaking the barrier and take a less gradual approach would be 2D games. Unfortunately, they were of no appeal in my case, so I couldn't use them. Although, for those of you who might, I would suggest going with titles like Super Mario, of course, Rayman Origins, or even the Trine series. Now, if you had a similar experience, what titles did you play to introduce your better half to the hobby you love the most? I hope you enjoyed the video and that this gave you some food for thoughts, and if so, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Thank you all, and don't forget to have fun.